Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 424. It is the last day of the week, aka the Big Bang Attack workout. I'm feeling very good right now, very excited for this workout. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today. Goodbye alcohol. So, the main reason I want to discuss this is because a few episodes ago, and by a few I mean like 40 or something like that, you've seen right here, I talked about me getting this random attack on my foot, basically, that the doctors said they thought was gout, but it wasn't gout. So, in light of recent activities, basically, I went out with my friend, and it was a good time, and it was a great time. We had a few drinks, maybe a little one too many, but still it was a good amount of drinks. We were chilling. It was a good time. Next day, foot hurt. I was like, okay, this is weird, but all right. Day after that, foot hurt even more. By the third day, my foot was swollen again. The same thing that had happened the last time. So I was like, all right. So this time I already kind of knew what to do. So it made the process of getting better from it a little bit easier. They gave me the pills, went to the doctor, gave me the pills, whatever. You know, it is what it is. But now I actually have to figure out what the fuck is wrong with my foot. So with that being said, though, with some deductive reasoning, of course, I figured out that alcohol is probably one of the things that causes it, because it has been a common thread through all the times that it has happened where I've felt foot pain. So with that being said, today is a eulogy and a epitaph to drinking alcohol for me personally. This one a little less reflective on what's going on in the world and more so just a closing chapter in my life, as I've talked about endings mattering right here. So in this episode, we're going to be looking at that, maybe going back, reminiscing, talking about a few things here and there, and really just closing the door on a chapter in my life that was opened, I wouldn't say relatively early. Thankfully, it was right before it was the time, technically, and it is just something to think about, because I was going to do this for the new year. I was going to quit alcohol for the full year. I was just going to see if I can do it fully sober. But now with this and probably what I'm going to be told by a doctor sooner rather than later, and I'll probably have an update about that in the voiceover, I'm done with alcohol, which is a kind of interesting thing to think about. And with that being said, though, we'll get into more detail when we get to Mother Base. Alright, so I started this day off with single arm lat pull down, which is pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. Goodbye alcohol. So the main reason why I want to discuss this is because what happened was basically I had to take off the first few days of this week because of the fact that I had gotten a foot issue that happened to me before. And so thus I kind of connected the dots, because it happened immediately the day after I went heavy drinking out with a friend, and all of a sudden I basically got gout-like symptoms again. I got that fixed, or at least as fixed as it's going to be, with the medicines that I was appropriately given by the doctors, and since then have gone to a personal doctor, or whatever the hell they're called, the primary care physician. He didn't tell me anything that I didn't already know, but basically he said that, yeah, I probably do have actual gout. The only thing is that for some reason it won't actually show up in my testing. For some reason, the extra little bits of the cells or the plaque that's supposed to be building up in there, I think it's like some type of acid in your pee or something like that detects, but it wasn't there when I did it both times beforehand. It's still one of those things that I get the symptoms and I get it at the exact same spot each time. So it has to do with something like alcohol, but not really. I was told that could be something from, as well as the amounts of sugars, so lots of sugars, but it could just be one of the multi-trigger foods that could be happening all at once. So in essence, I was going to say bye to alcohol before this entire event happened, but because of these events, it just accelerated that timeline to make it so alcohol was going to go bye-bye anyway. I was planning on doing this anyway. I wanted to be sober for the full year. I just wanted to see what it was like to go all 12 months without any alcohol whatsoever. But now it is kind of forced upon me in a certain sense. I could have some alcohol if I tried to find some that are either low sugar or whatever, but it's also something that I'm willing willing to just say fuck it and go cold turkey on, which is nice to know because in a certain sense, I know that I'm not necessarily addicted to it because I am going cold turkey rather than sitting there contemplating sweating out the days or having the shakes, God forbid, of trying to get rid of alcohol in my life. Instead, it is something that I was doing every infrequently, once in a while. I would say that last year I probably drank a total of like 6 times maybe in total of the entire year, which to be fair can be a lot depending on the person, but it wasn't that much. I could fit it in 2 hands. So I will say that my alcohol consumption now has gone to 0. I do not miss it at all, but I will miss the times. I'll say that this is my eulogy and my epitaph to alcohol. It was a great thing for a lot of years, for many a decade, I would say, from the age of 20 to 32, I would say that I was drinking a lot because I turned 33 this year. And with that, I have already stopped. So 12 years of alcoholism or drinking in general, with ups and downs, of course. And I think that it was a good time. I think most of the times that came well with the alcohol were usually just accompanied with friends, maybe family occasionally, but mostly friends. And I think that that's the biggest part of it, really, is when you're drinking, you're usually doing it with other people around and people that you enjoy the company with. Of course, there are times where if you're doing it alone, well, then you might have an issue. But when doing it with others, it was just a representation of the times that you were having with them. And most of the time it was good. Obviously, things could get a little out of hand every once in a while, but that's just how the way it is. I think that most alcohol, if you get a little too much, you become a different person. But I think that I will not miss it. I think that those times were already past me by another 3 years, 3 or 4 years, I would say. I was kind of already done with those going out times and stuff like that. Plus, the little thing that happened in 2020 kind of ruined going out and drinking. So that just made it so that was the last real time I would say that I went out there. So that was 5 years ago. And now I haven't really missed it. Occasional drink every once in a while, or trying a drink at a place because, hey, I'm here. When am I ever going to come here again? But once you tried one of them, they all basically taste the same. And they're really just there for fuel in order to get you into a state of inebriation. The way you get there is all just dependent on palate, really. It doesn't necessarily matter. They're all basically the same. Now, I know there are some quote unquote health benefits, quote unquote, to red wine or something like that, but I can probably live my life without having to deal with that or even try that, really. So I am slightly saddened in a certain sense where it's not my personal choice that is allowing me to stop this, but more so a choice forced upon me by my body. And I'm also going to not be a retard and listen to my body, as many people will do the complete opposite and not listen to their body and continue on this pathway. There is a famous streamer, Only Use Me Blade, who recently just found out that they had to amputate his toes because his foot got infected from all the drinking that he ended up doing, and just was fucked over. Basically, he has a massive drinking problem, and it's not about necessarily casting judgments on those who are enthralled in the addiction of alcoholism, more so that it is something that has gone by me personally. I know that can and is an addiction for many people, so I'm not going to say that it's not, but for me, I am thankful that it isn't, so I can just throw it away. I will say having the choice made for me is a little shitty in a certain sense, but it was going to be a decision I made anyway, regardless of this. So it just happened to happen at the same time, and I don't believe in coincidences. So it was a thing to happen. I'm sort of glad in a sense that it happened, because now this kind of answered the mysterious question of what the fuck happened to me at the time before this. So now I understand that, oh, it's probably a lot of sugars, and probably stay away from like a lot of red meats and all this other stuff I should probably stay away from in general, just so I don't have to deal with the foot pain, because the foot pain kind of fucking sucks. I'll be honest, I've had to deal with it. I'm still dealing with it technically. Every once in a while, it hurts to flex my toe hard. So it isn't a fun thing to deal with, but it is what it is, and I'll probably get better and get the mobility 100% back. I don't think it's 100% back, but it'll get there. But it is something that I'm not going to be crying about, especially if I see some bottle of alcohol alcohol or some other random collaboration that's like spiked Mountain Dew or something like that, I'm not going to be very sad that I'm not going to try it. I think that this ends a chapter in my life that was good, but no longer needed. I don't think I ever really want alcohol again. I think I'm good on that front. And I know that it's something that people can enjoy and that's good for them, but I'm also pretty good, and I'm glad to have closed that chapter in my life and just leave it to rest and say goodbye to alcohol. And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercise is not filmed tonight. Exercise is skipped. Also none. Got everything in, thankfully. But anyway, the main subject matter for today. Goodbye alcohol. In this episode, I was going to kind of already do this, but just talk about the idea of giving up alcohol for the year. But now that this might be what is essentially the eulogy of alcohol in my life, I thought I'd take a moment to say, thank you for the good times. Thank you for the bad times. Thank you for all the times, and understandably so. It is a thing that I will miss occasionally from time to time, of course, but it is something that I'm willing to let go, especially if it's going to keep fucking me up to the point where can't be doing shit anymore. So I'm not going to be an idiot and just go down that rabbit hole over and over again, or do the other thing where you take like a pill in order to like make sure that your body is allowed to do it or whatever. I think that that's a weird way to take a route out of certain things. Not necessarily bad, but it's just not my style. I don't think that I'm really wanting to do something like that. Maybe for a special occasion, if that's even a possibility of being able to do that, or if it's one of those things that you constantly have to take in order for it to like work, and then it's one of those things. Fuck that, I'm not doing that. Hopefully I'll have some answers in the voiceover about that, but I'm just looking back at it. It is in essence a better idea to just get rid of it altogether. So thus it is kind of nice in that certain sense that it's forced my hand, but in a way it kind of sucks in a certain sense that my hand has been forced. A big difference between giving up something on your own volition and having something given up for you as your, against your will, really. And I think that that's the main, weird conundrum here with this entire idea or thing that's happening to me. But if this is it, and probably is going to be it forever, really, I'm okay with that. As much as it will suck every once in a while, I think that the downsides are very minimal in comparison to the upsides, like being slightly healthier and not having to worry about calories or spending a shit ton of money at any place that I go to. It's a weird nicety. Like there's definitely more upsides than downsides, but there were a lot of good times, and I can't deny that. A lot of bonding with friends, a lot of just memories that are attached to some type of alcohol somewhere, some way. And it's nice in a certain sense because it's like it builds these stories that you'll never forget. But it's time to move on and put that friend to rest. And again, actually have the opportunity to say goodbye and understand that I had the one last time and it was a nice last time. So I can just kind of put it to rest and know that I went out with a nice little bang, but enough to reminiscing and having a good time with an old friend. And that's it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to drink anymore. But with that being said, it's not like I won't see that friend again. I will see him again. So it is something that is very nice, but just not in the context of drinking. So we'll see about that. But we'll see what else we end up doing. More likely than not, we'll probably end up going to like an arcade or something. But anyways, with that being said, tell me what you think of the comments section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about this one. This was, I wouldn't say necessarily random, but it was more in the cards of just something that is more of a personal thing. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you are still a drinker, please let me know in the comment section down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there and stay warm. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.